Mark.
Who's Mark?
Who the hell is Mark anyway?
So, different setup.
I think it looks pretty good.
Yeah, there are some kinks with the audio with my computer, but should be 10 times faster to set up next time.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We're pretty dumb, so.
Today, in our attempt to not just straight up pigeonhole us into anime and Ghibli, we decided to go...
Although I would love nothing more.
We decided to go a slightly different route with our movie today. We went with Lords of Chaos.
Lords of Chaos directed by who, Fredis?
I think the dude's name is Jason Ackerland.
I think you got it, yeah. And what's the film about, Fredis?
It's about black metal.
So yeah, there you have it. Go ahead and watch it.
If it wasn't for 2 scenes, it probably would have been like a...
It's pretty R.
Pretty funny movie. If it wasn't for...
Spoilers.
Oh yeah.
Maybe we'll cut that out.
Well,
whatever. I don't know.
I didn't give a spoiler warning for From Up on Poppy Hill because I'm a dumbass.
No one gives a shit.
If you care about spoilers for From Up on Poppy Hill, then I don't know what to say. So, spoiler warning.
So, this is based on a true story, this movie.
Oh, yeah.
So you have much more background on that than I do. So what really happened?
Well, I am a metal connoisseur.
As they say.
As in, I just listen to... I'm pretty run-of-the-mill with my metal.
I don't think so. You're in the depths.
I guess my black metal tastes are pretty run-of-the-mill.
Oh, sure. As far as black metal goes,
yeah.
Which is pretty niche, I imagine.
Yeah. Like,
I mean, I've heard it.
I mean, I love Iron... You know
myself.
I love Iron Maiden. That's pretty... as mainstream as it gets with metal. Metallica. But, like, I love Agalloch, some Wolves in the Throne Room.
What's the story? It's the story of a man named Euronymous.
So, basically, the story is kind of about the early days of the Norwegian black metal scene. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of it's centered around this dude called Euronymous, who he's all like
stage name.
We
don't know his real name.
His real name is.
It was said multiple times. Oh, you got it.
His real name is Oinstor, something Norwegian.
Oinstor.
Thor. That's his name.
His name is Thor. Norwegian dude. Everyone's got Norwegian names, but it's an American movie.
Yeah, like the main characters like Varg. Mm-hmm. Euronymous, they're played by Americans for some reason. Everybody else is Norwegian.
And everyone speaks English.
Metalheads know the story already, but like basically how shit went down with churches and stuff, and it eventually led to the stabbing death of Euronymous by Varg, which we will get into. But let's talk about the movie. What did you think, Mason? Because you're pretty, you were pretty much had no idea, right, about this.
Yeah, I'm a noob at this shit. I don't know anything. I didn't know anything about this dude. You've mentioned the story in passing to shock me and spook me. We were in
I mentioned to you at the record store.
We were in a record store, and you told me...
I was looking for Agalloch.
You told me about this dude, Varg, and his band. Dude who went to jail for the stabbing murder of an associate, I guess.
Yeah. An
acquaintance. And now he's on YouTube making videos about how you shouldn't masturbate because it's bad.
Say it with me now. I'm a pimp.
Was on YouTube.
He was on YouTube. Excuse me.
Then the apocalypse happened. So.
Wait, what?
Yeah, he was a victim of the apocalypse.
Oh.
R.I.P.
It's probably for the best in that one case.
Yeah, that record store had fucking Burzum, but not Agalloch.
Burzum, this guy's band.
Which is apparently from Tolkien.
What a fucking nerd.
What a fucking dumbass virgin nerd reading Lord of the Rings. Like, who would...
Don't look at me, bro.
Yeah, a lot of his music deals with, like Norse mythology, sometimes some mythical stuff, like...
Yeah, in the movie,
You don't hear his music in the movie at all.
Oh, yeah, that was something you pointed out, that they couldn't get the licensing rights to, like, any of the actual band's songs.
See, that's what I remember reading. Then I looked it up in preparation for this review, and apparently they did get the rights.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I don't think they used it.
I thought this movie was quite good.
Yeah, I remember when I watched it 2 years ago. I thought, could have been better. There's definitely potential here for something great. But rewatching it the other day, I was like, yeah, this is actually pretty good for what it is.
It's definitely a comic take on what happened in a lot of it in a lot of ways.
Yeah, when you think about it, these were 17, 18-year-old dudes. They were kids.
Really?
Yeah.
Rory Culkin looked like he was 35.
You're on?
Whose casting choice was that?
They probably needed a big actor to get the money.
I'd never heard of Rory Culkin until I saw this movie. I
They
didn't
got-
even know he existed. I know of Macaulay. I knew of Kieran. And now this Rory fella popped up. What are they, clones? They look exactly the same.
Yeah, that's weird. But Euronymous, I think he's only like 23 when he died.
Wow. Yeah. I'm pretty sure Rory Culkin's older than that.
So a lot of the people that were around during the scene, they don't like this movie.
I can see why.
Yeah,
I
'cause
mean, they probably take the actual story more seriously than the movie does.
Yeah, they probably take themselves more seriously. But if you look at it, it's 18-year-old kids writing evil music and acting like dumbasses.
Just wanted to be edgy. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the movie's perspective for sure. That they do all of this stuff just to look cool. They are obsessed with death and like Norse mythology and sacrificing shit, and the fact that Christianity is a false god. God is a false god.
Yeah, they really hate Christians for some reason.
Because it's cool. It's definitely what the movie was getting.
Yeah,
at.
so the movie paints Euronymous as like a fake, a wannabe.
Yeah, he's our main character,
Yeah,
and he narrates the movie. So he's talking directly to the audience.
from beyond the grave.
We learn later. We just learn at the beginning that it will end badly, his
Yeah.
story. And it does. Spoiler alert.
We can get to the stabbing scenes later.
So he's narrating the whole thing in kind of this ironic tone, I guess. He sees himself as the founder of black metal. This
Norwegian
movement.
black metal.
Norwegian black metal, excuse me. The beginning of the movie, he's in his house in like the suburbs.
Yeah, he's the garage band.
Yeah, they're just a garage band from
Yeah.
humble beginnings. His character is pretty sympathetic from the start. Like,
Yeah, the movie definitely paints Euronymous as like a very sympathetic, tragic, complicated person.
yeah,
Though in real life, I think he was more into it as the movie portrays, but he wasn't.
Yeah, it makes
He
sense.
didn't go as far as like say Varg or the others. He still, I guess, didn't. He pussied out towards the end, from what I've read online.
what a bitch.
He was very manipulative in real life.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, he was a prick. He would
Yeah.
take credit for things that like the other people did. He would try to make himself seem more evil than he actually was.
But the movie definitely doesn't go that route. They paint him from the beginning as
Just a regular kid.
kind of a regular, I guess, kid. I thought he was older than that, his character. But he's just a regular kid. He loves his sister, and he wants to play music and
Yeah.
sing about death and cool shit. That's how it all starts.
There's nothing wrong with that, but you got to be real. You can't be like, "Oh, we're so evil. We throw decapitated pig heads at our show."
That was something happened early on when they were getting a band together. I remember they lost their drummer and then got a new one, started recording in a studio and like doing live shows at like this nasty old house in the wilderness, like I imagine all metal concerts are. They play that show. There's lots of cool metal kids hanging out, lots of hot freaking blonde Scandinavian babes.
Oh, hell yeah. Now we're getting to that part of the movie. We got to talk about the character Dead.
Yes, that's when they first get dead, right? Before that
Yeah,
show.
like right there. So Dead is pretty, I guess, famous, like
The real guy.
the real, yeah, like lore-wise within the black metal community. Like he's revered, like really look back on fondly, when in real life he was just a really disturbed, like he was really depressed.
Dude had problems.
Yeah,
He needed a hand,
he needed help,
but
but all he got was
he got people cheering because he was so
yeah.
fucking cool, doing like self-mutilation on stage.
And Euronymous egging him on, like, man, you're always so fucking depressed. Why don't you just kill yourself?
And then spoilers.
He
One day he did it.
He does it.
In
In the
a
movie-
pretty kind of shocking scene. I've never seen a suicide scene that's that graphic, like in a movie.
That's how he did it. In
The
real
second
life.
one's probably Royal Tenenbaums for me, and that's like a huge fucking difference. Yeah, it was a really shockingly graphic scene, but like the way it starts, he just kind of he's laying in bed like he does all day, and then he just decides like, all right, and then gets up and slits his wrists and
his neck.
his neck, and then it's cross cutting between that and like Euronymous doing something, like he's at the store or something.
Yeah. And he
then-
shoots himself in the head.
And then he
Like,
grabs a gun and blows like a quarter of his head off, in very graphic detail. And I kind of thought it was a little harsh, like the portrayal of it. It did seem very matter of fact, but the fact that it showed everything, it's kind of like, I don't know, disrespectful in a way.
I mean, I wouldn't say disrespectful, because
like-
that's what happened.
Yeah, but
Like,
I mean,
Dad's death is kind of the impetus for everything that happens in the movie.
yeah, it was just that combined with the overall tone of the movie, which is kind of satirical. It just makes me feel iffy about it. It's just like they kind of spared no expense. They have like blood effects, practical effects, and like
Yeah.
some good CG for the shots where his head's gone, or possibly practical effects. I couldn't tell.
No, the blood is really good in this movie.
Yeah, for what that's worth.
Yeah.
It's well done. But I don't know. I mean, it's an open question whether it's like bad that they portrayed it that way. Like, I don't know if you had a family to like get the rights from, like an estate or something, or if that was just up for grabs to write a fictional story about, fictionalized.
I'm not
story
sure how
about.
that works.
I'm curious. Like,
And then you gotta get Norwegian law involved. Like,
yeah, I think there's definitely a way to handle that scene.
there could have been less graphic ways to do it.
I think you could cut away from it, like have the actual body be off camera for one thing,
Yeah.
or maybe just very far away in the background. I'm not usually like squeamish with movies, at least. I wasn't squeamish with it, but it just felt like this feels kind of off. But I don't know. I'm not wagging my finger about it.
I think it was well done and needed for the message the movie's going for.
Mm-hmm.
Because ultimately we learn that Euronymous isn't all hardcore. That Dad's death actually really affected him.
Yeah, that was interesting. The way they structured that when that first happens. It's pretty early on in the movie. When that first happens, dude walks in, their roommates or housemates. He walks in on him like, "Hey man, what's up?" And he sees him, and then the first time we see that scene, he immediately gets the idea to grab a camera and like.
He goes to the store. He buys a camera.
Oh, that's right. He leaves, grabs a camera, comes back, like moves shit around so it looks
Yeah.
cooler, and then
takes a picture.
takes a picture. And you said the angle of the picture was incorrect.
Where he was standing. Like, he was standing over it when he should have been more like.
Interesting. He takes a picture and like he tells his friends, "Hey man, Dad just killed himself." The other guys in the band who live in the house. "Hey, Dad just killed himself. This is metal as fuck. I made these necklaces out of his skull. The pieces of his skull. Let's wear them and it'll be like emblematic of our bond or whatever."
Yeah.
And then his one friend is like, "Dude, that's fucked up." Like,
Yeah. What a poser. He wasn't metal enough.
yeah, it wasn't metal enough. But then at the end of the movie, spoilers again.
Yeah.
It depicts that scene very differently. It's just kind of a flashback in a big moment in Euronymous' life. He flashes back to that moment when he saw his body for the first time, and in the reality of that movie, that other stuff was just kind of like how Euronymous' character wanted to portray it to the audience, like how he wanted it to look like it played out. Because in reality, he broke down, like fell to his knees and cried about it, like in front of the body. In the reality of the movie is what I'm saying. All that stuff about it being metal and cool, that's just what he wanted to project to other people. And
like on the inside, it really hurt him.
Yeah.
And his way of coping and trying to hide that feeling was taking the picture
Mm-hmm.
and then selling it as an album cover.
Yes.
That shows.
Oh shit! Did he sell it as an album cover?
Yeah, they put it on one of their tapes.
Yeah.
And sold it at a show. That's metal as fuck.
It's metal as fuck, bro.
There are interviews of his friends and bandmates who they say that Dead's death really did hurt Euronymous and that he tried to hide it.
Okay, so that's what the writers ran with, I guess,
Yeah.
for his kind of arc, if you can call it an arc.
And he goes from realizing maybe being evil isn't good.
Yeah. Side note, apparently Dead didn't kill cats, according to the bandmates.
Yeah.
That was the fabrication.
Other than that, from what I read, like his portrayal is pretty dead on.
But there's a cat hanging in his room for the whole time he's in the movie.
Yeah. Like, I get you're into death, but that would just smell like ass.
Yeah, for real. I stink. So, somewhere along the line,
This poser,
this poser
Christian
shows up.
Yeah.
Which, nice name, bro. And you want to get into metal?
He shows up. He's wearing like a scorpion patch.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I saw your show. I really liked it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Euronymous points out the scorpions patch, which rock you like a hurricane. Classic.
You're going to get us copyrighted just for mentioning the name.
But Euronymous points it out as just like scorpions and just walks away with no other word.
Yeah.
Just to fuck with this poser. Which they throw around a lot in this movie. It's the worst thing you want to be called in the community, apparently. So that sets a fire in Christian, I guess.
Yeah, he just wants to be accepted by the scene, which I'm not sure. I do not know Varg's origin story. I don't know if he really was a poser or not. I think I read that he never listened to Scorpions. But
why not?
He got his views from somewhere. Something happened and he went crazy.
Mm-hmm.
In this movie, it's just a one-upsmanship.
Yeah.
And he tries to show him that he's legit.
Mm-hmm.
And then he finds out that they're not legit. And that's what, I guess, like his mind snaps probably.
That's what sets it all off, yeah. Eventually, Christian comes back to the band with a new name, Varg.
We do not have a Han Solo moment. He just says, "My name is Varg Vikernes."
Varg Vikernes?
Yeah. Cool
name. I like the alliteration.
Yeah, it's not like he was at some like police station or some shit, and some dude's all like, "What's your name?" Varg.
He looks around, sees a fucking like magazine with the word Varg on it. Sees someone playing Scrabble and like they have Varg on their little shelf.
Yeah. Like, who are your people?
So he comes back as Varg and he sends his demo to Euronymous and his band.
He sends his demo tape to Euronymous,
who by then has started a record store.
So he sends him the record, and we don't hear the record, but I'm assuming it's Burzum's first album. And Euronymous is like, "Oh my god, holy shit, this is so evil." So he brings him on into the record label, and that's where they become kind of like friends, BFFs.
It starts him on the path.
Yeah.
Varg starts getting some plays. He gets a display in the front of the record shop.
Well, at that point, we start seeing, we see them be friends for a bit, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's already like tension happening because like I think Euronymous changed the name of a track or something.
Oh yeah, that's one thing.
He doesn't want to pay him.
Slightly changes the name.
Yeah.
Adds an extra word, evil or something. And then you see you see the cogs turning in Varg's head.
Yeah, I think Euronymous, he's like drunk or something. He's like, man, we gotta burn churches down or some shit. And then Varg goes out and actually does it.
Yeah, that's how a lot of things happen in this movie. Euronymous gets drunk, fucking says something in like hyperbole,
Yeah.
and then other people actually fucking take him seriously. And
Kind of.
they totally take it seriously, and then it
Well,
totally
with-
fucks him in the end.
With Varg, I think the first time he just wanted to be accepted. Like, if I do this, they'll respect me.
Mm-hmm.
And he does it, and they respect him.
Burns down a church, and that first church, may I say, looks metal as fuck, as it is.
Yeah, those Norwegian churches, they looked...
They're badass.
Yeah.
Looks like Dracula's castle. But apparently that was the actual church that was burned down. They rebuilt it, and then they filmed the movie there.
Man, that must have been a lot of money. They
Yeah.
burnt down like 5 churches in this movie.
Yeah, seriously. This movie must have had a pretty big budget,
Yeah.
especially for an indie movie.
They got Rory Culkin. They burnt down churches.
All right, Rory Culkin, he's not A-list. I mean, yeah, they burned down 5 churches. They have realistic gore effects.
Should we get to the gore?
First, I'll just say it's very well shot. There's some beautiful landscape scenes.
Yeah. Cinematography could have been better. Not the best,
mean,
but
it
it gets the job done.
I was thinking maybe some of those landscapes were stock footage. It's possible
But
because they look very pretty.
the stabbing scenes in this movie, they're so well done.
Oh yeah,
Some of the most realistic stabbing scenes I've ever seen on film.
yeah, I agree.
Just the way they act, the amount of blood there is,
Mm-hmm.
the shock of it happening, and then trying to fight back, but just having lost all that blood, just slowly.
Yeah,
Like,
I like how understated it is too.
Yeah.
It just kind of happens in real time, and there's no music or like, I don't know. There's just sound design in the background. I mean, there's just your ambient noise in the background.
Yeah, that first one, when I first saw the movie, because I didn't know the story as well, it like really shocked me.
Yeah.
Because I thought, damn, I didn't know one of them was gay. And then he just whips out the knife and then,
Mm-hmm.
oh God.
It is. It's shocking.
Especially knowing that it happened in real life.
Yeah. Which I don't know. I guess that sense of humor is needed to kind of counterbalance that, because otherwise it would just be a horrible experience.
Yeah, because the dude who did the stabbing, Faust, I think is his name.
Of course
But-
it is.
He,
It's probably a fake name, right?
he was just walking around the record store. It's like, he's trying to scare like these 2 kids buying records. And he's
Mhm.
all like, I totally want to stab somebody. And Geronimo is just wants to shut him the fuck up. He's like, why don't you do it? You always say that shit.
There it is again.
Yeah.
Euronymous just needed to shut the fuck up for a second, and all this wouldn't happen to him.
And then Faust brutally stabs a gay dude to death
Yeah.
at a park.
It's never explained up to that point that they do have, I mean, things go to Nazism eventually.
Oh yeah, Varg is he claims to not be a Nazi, but
Says some pretty Nazi-ish things.
Yeah, his views are pretty Nazi.
Yeah. Which, as it's portrayed in the movie and how it probably is in real life, it's just because the imagery and like
Yeah.
doing that shit is so frowned upon, to say the
Yeah.
least. It's seen as a bad thing, so it's like, oh, fuck society, I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm gonna do this horrible shit and shock people.
Yeah, there's a journalist in the scene. He's all like, "Wait, so you're a Satanist, and you're
Yeah, that scene's played for laughs for sure.
yeah, what was it? You're a Satanist, but you also believe in Odinism and Nazism. How does this all connect?"
He says it's a very complicated belief system.
Yeah, which nowadays a lot of Odinists are pretty much Nazis.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're like really white supremacists.
Oh yeah, Varg put up
type of
videos
dudes.
about white genocide, and
Of course he did.
it's very anti-Christian. He wants things to go back to the way they were in terms of like us living with nature or some shit like that. Some weird shit.
Well, that part's a vibe, but not the other stuff.
He doesn't want us to watch porn.
Interesting belief system indeed. I want to see what like Norse legend tells you not to jerk it.
It probably does. Every religion tells you not to jerk it.
But why? It's so... Maybe cut this part out. No, you know what? Maybe don't.
Yeah.
Jerking it is awesome.
Leave it in. I will happily jerk it to porn just to piss Varg Vikernes off.
Yeah, everyone do your part and masturbate. To stick it to Varg.
Yeah. Yeah, so after Faust kills that dude, Varg is like, let's burn down a church in celebration.
Also, that murder goes unsolved, and Euronymous takes credit for it in a way.
Oh, yeah, he did that in real life, too. He said that, like, he was the mastermind of everything and all that shit.
When it seemed like something that guy just kind of came up with.
Yeah.
That's something he does repeatedly throughout the movie. When it comes to Varg's church burning idea and that murder, he takes these acts of terrorism. He takes credit for them.
But now Varg is full on. Like he is set in his belief system. But back then, I'm pretty sure he was more fluid.
Mm-hmm. Just vibing.
Yeah,
just going with the flow.
Going with the flow. He's an 18-year-old kid who grew up in Norway. His mom paid for his record. The only reason Euronymous opened the record store was because his dad paid for it.
Yeah.
They grew up in one of the best countries in the world.
Mm-hmm.
They were privileged as motherfuckers, and they still grew up saying, "Oh, society bad."
Mm-hmm. Lots of social safety nets, as you were saying throughout the movie.
Christianity bad. These kids, they just hated Christianity because it was the cool thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, it just seemed like they were in their rebellious phase. That's what they were told to hold in the highest regard, and Nazism was something to be scared of.
Should we talk
we
about
said enough
the murder itself? The most legendary murder in all of the metal. When Varg drove to Euronymous' place and killed Euronymous in self-defense.
Mm-hmm. At that point in the movie, Euronymous had given it up. He, I want to set the stage a little bit. Euronymous had given it up.
My evil days are over.
Yeah.
But in real life, Euronymous was still...
He's still in it.
He was still intending to...
I don't find that hard to believe.
To make black metal music and all that.
But in the movie, he gave up the rights to Varg, put it in writing, and like said, "Go on, be free. It's all up to you."
Which he did in real life.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So Varg signed the contract, and then he drove to his place to give it to him.
Oh.
And Varg claims that Euronymous freaked the fuck out, pushed him away from him, and went for a knife. And that's where Varg stabbed him 23 times.
He pushed him away because he had a contract?
Yeah, I guess so.
Wonder what the story is there.
Yeah, it's a lot of he said, she said.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm more inclined to go with what the Norwegian legal system says happened.
That he
showed up and stabbed him 23
And it was
times.
premeditated murder.
Yeah.
And they did not, in fact, watch Die Hard 2 that night.
No.
The reason it happened was that, according to the movie, the reason it happened was Euronymous said in passing, like, to somebody, that one dude who committed the other stabbing murder.
Yeah, he said, he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill that motherfucker.
He said, that motherfucker.
I'm gonna stab him.
I'm gonna tase him, tie him to a tree, and murder him."
Which he said in real life.
Interesting.
Yeah, he said that in real life. But Varg has said that Euronymous was just nothing but show. He wasn't really into it.
Mm-hmm.
So which
I don't know if I want to listen to too much of what Varg has to say, but go on.
But which leads me to believe Varg, if Euronymous is all about the show, and he says that, you don't think he's actually gonna do it, right?
Yeah, that's certainly the vibe. I don't know. I guess that could be seen as a flaw.
Yeah.
Like, I guess either way, he had some pent up frustration in him.
You see, that's the thing. We don't really know a whole lot about Euronymous.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of his close friends are pretty tight-lipped
I'm sure.
about stuff like that. Varg to this day insists it was self-defense, and he's been telling himself self-defense for like 30 years now. I'm sure he actually believes it.
Yeah, he's convinced himself.
Yeah.
He used dark metal magic.
Yeah.
On himself.
But what I believe happened
Mm-hmm.
is that Euronymous said that probably in frustration.
Mm-hmm.
And Varg was just sick of everything. At that point, he was full on. Like,
And also, in the movie, Euronymous reveals that the little skull chips that he made into necklaces from Dead's head was actually chicken bones.
Yeah, that's been rumored. Like, there's nobody really knows if it was really Dead's brain
Really? Okay.
or chicken bone.
But the movie confirms it.
The movie confirms
The
that
movie
it's
is
chicken
100%
bone.
true.
Yeah,
Um,
which I'm inclined to believe chicken bone.
so anyway, I want to talk about how the murder plays out.
And again, really well done stabbing scene.
Mm-hmm.
It was just so visceral, so real.
Mm-hmm.
Just the betrayal that Euronymous feels like. It's like, you're my friend.
Mm-hmm. It goes on for a long ass time too. Like he takes a lot of hits, and he's still saying stuff though. Like,
Hey man, stabbings can take a while. People have survived being stabbed like 80 times.
makes sense. In a way, I guess he was in shock too.
Yeah.
That's how you could read it. Probably was beyond convincing at that point, but he was still saying stuff like, "Man, it was all just for show."
I think
I don't
that's
remember
pissed
exactly what he
Varg
said.
off even more in the
Mhm.
movie. It's like, oh, it's just a show to you. It's real to me, damn
It's real to me, damn it.
It's still real to me, damn it!
And it is brutally presented. Again, like really
Yeah.
good gore effects for what that's worth. Blood looks realistic. There's looks like real puncture wounds going on. And then he stabs him and like kicks him down the stairs,
Yeah.
tracking blood all the way down. I thought it was kind of funny that like at the end of that scene, Varg had taken all these steps to like keep it clean and like give himself an alibi.
All that fell apart.
Yeah, it didn't work so well. Varg stabs the shit out of Euronymous, and then he flees the scene and like puts his hand on the rail as he goes down, and the camera holds on the rail and it's got blood on it, like
Yeah.
as if that's the fucking thing that's gonna make his alibi fall apart.
Yeah.
Get the police on him, like, look, we found this one clue that'll lead us to the culprit. And like, no, dude, like they paid for gas on the way there.
Yeah.
They had a shitty alibi about Die Hard 2, and the other guy, his accomplice, cracked immediately under pressure, pretty much, from what's portrayed in the movie.
Yeah, in real life, Varg, after killing Euronymous in self-defense, he drove back home, but on the way threw his blood-soaked clothes into a lake, which is what you do after killing somebody in self-defense.
Yeah, for sure. You hide all evidence that you were there.
Yeah.
So not a professional criminal.
No, he was a kid.
Yeah. I was saying it doesn't go into much of Varg's backstory. It would have been interesting to see what brought him to that point.
Yeah, let's get into criticisms.
Hmm.
The structure of this film, because this is such a complex story spanning years,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it probably would have been better as like a mini-series, Netflix series.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, because like Dead, he's only in the movie for like 10 minutes
Mm-hmm.
when he's such a pivotal role in Euronymous' life and the black metal scene in Norway in general.
Yeah,
And then to see a bit more of like the inside of Varg's head, like
yeah, the inside of Varg's head, the inside of
Yeah.
Dead's head. Well,
we see that.
we already saw that. Varg, especially for me, especially in like the finale of it, it would have been interesting to see what brought him to that point, because he's presented as a guy who's just desperately seeking approval from these friends of his. He's willing to do anything for it,
Yeah.
and that's what ends up making him burn down churches and kill his friend.
Why don't you go ask Varg himself?
I guess you could, if anyone knows his number. That could be the next episode. Do some background research.
Yeah, he was released in like 2009, I think.
Something must have gone on in Varg's past
Yeah.
to make him this way, to make him seek approval so desperately. Like, would have been interesting getting into like his childhood, if that's a part of it.
I think my main issue with the movie is the structure with like the Netflix series thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a point in the movie where like the tensions are coming to a head between Varg and Euronymous. They're like, pay me my money, you're fake. I'm real about this.
Mm-hmm.
And Euronymous like, it's just a show, it's just this, I'll pay you your money, alright? We're friends, chill out. And then it cuts to them to like a fucking music video of them just singing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is that really the best spot for that here?
I can see that
It's
as a
moments
criticism.
like that take me out of it.
Yeah, but I figured in the moment I saw it as just like that's an organic part of their lives. Like they have all this tension and anger, and then that's how they get it out, is through their music. and like the murder, the crimes, the hate, and the music. It's all like goes hand in hand for them.
Yeah.
So I didn't see that as a bad thing.
I mean, I just would have liked to see less of that. I think people's issue with this movie is that it doesn't focus on the music. Like, oh, where's all the other Norwegian black metalers? They were important to the scene too. Like, no, this is a story about Euronymous and Varg.
Yeah.
Euronymous coming to terms with the death of one of his best friends, how that deeply affects him, and how that like kind of opens his eyes to like how all this bullshit they're doing isn't worth it.
And
while Varg slowly becomes more and more radicalized into the right-wing extremist that he is.
Yes.
He's like I don't know, I guess he's right-wing, but like he's his own distinct version.
It's not like based on a political system. It's just
Yeah, he's just so weird.
evil,
He's super
bad shit.
anti-Christian.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if he's anti-Semitic, which
Pretty safe bet, I think.
I mean, I would assume so.
I mean,
Because I think he emphasized in some of his videos is that like Christianity was formed by Jews or something like that.
it's true. Like he got it, hit it on the head right there.
Yeah.
Like Jesus was Jewish, but
But like he's a full-on believer of white replacement, white genocide. He's into Odinism, into going like cultural roots, that kind of stuff.
yeah,
Hell, even I think it's Andrei Breivik, the dude who shot up the summer camp back in 2011 in Norway.
oh man,
He sent him he was a full-on Nazi. He sent him. Varg was one of the people that got sent his manifesto.
oh god,
Yeah.
yeah. The movie I think cuts Varg a break in that it's all an act for him. Like there's a scene where he calls a reporter to his house and like he hangs up like Nazi flags and like Satan worship
Yeah.
paraphernalia around his house, and then he's just like sitting there like getting all psyched up to like present himself as this criminal mastermind.
Yeah.
So the movie portrays that as just like him trying to be cool to his friends or whatever.
Yeah.
But it might have been more deep set than that in real
Yeah,
life.
I wanted to see like the beliefs.
In fact, I'm sure it
slowly
was.
becoming more ingrained.
Which you could do with a series, probably
Yeah.
less so with a movie. I think pacing is probably an issue in this movie and the way things ramp up. Because it goes pretty quickly to church burning and then the stabbing scene, just a random civilian that's gay. That just kind of happens. I feel like that character even doesn't get much of an arc at all. He's just like everyone's accomplice kind of. Would have been interesting going into that because there's such a big focus on that scene. So yeah, I think just more characters could have been fleshed out for sure. Even Varg, who's like an antagonist in a way. I guess just definitely the antagonist, because it's mostly just Euronymous' story. Like he narrates it for one thing. His character does. Would have been interesting to get multiple perspectives. Like you have this ensemble cast. You should use it. I think that's all I got. Anything else you want to say?
Varg bad.
Varg bad.
Yeah.
But it was a good movie, worth watching.
But his music is so good. I presume. Oh my god.
Is it worth it for this?
Yeah, I'm really conflicted about that.
Is it worth supporting a murderer with your plays who's still got Nazi
illegally
views?
download Varg's music. Do not support that guy.
There you go.
He has a wife. How the hell can somebody marry that mother?
It's kind of inspiring, you know? If that guy can settle down, then anybody can.
Yeah.
But good movie. I would recommend it.
Yeah. If you're interested in like metal, definitely watch it. I think as a whole, for like a complete regular person not into metal, I think it's still a good watch. Very eye-opening. Some really great scenes. The stabbings, the ending scenes, the build up to the stabbing, the music used. Host of Seraphim by Lisa Gerrard.
Oh, interesting.
Really good use of that music. It was in Baraka.
Oh, it was a movie soundtrack.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And it was used at the end of The Mist.
Isn't that kind of cheating? Using another movie soundtrack for your movie soundtrack.
Shut up.
All right.
Yeah, go listen to Burzum. I think on
Wait, no, I don't. No, don't do that. That's what I say.
I think on Letterboxd, I gave this a 7.
I'd give it a 7. 7 skull chips out of 10.
7 chicken bones out of 10.
7 chicken bones out of 10.
Yeah.
That's our new rating system.
So yeah, go watch it.
I think it's worth watching. Don't watch if you're not really in the mood to watch a suicide scene or a couple murder scenes that are very brutally presented, pretty realistically presented. Other than that, it's a great time for the whole family.
Yeah,
No,
just don't take what happens like at face value. Like research what happened. Like there's a lot of conflicting viewpoints and stuff like that.
and the movie has kind of addresses that in this title card at the beginning, where it's like
Well, based on
truth, lies, and what really happened.
Yeah.
Which I don't know,
Bit
probably
of a
isn't.
cop out, but okay.
It's not really enough to say like there's outright lies in the movie.
Yeah.
Maybe some not great portrayals of women in the movie. They're just like they're down to clown with whatever. They're fucked and then they like leave the movie.
Yeah. That one Hieronymus's girlfriend character. She never existed in real life.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah,
She only exists in this movie as like Hieronymus's grounding.
Yeah.
So in that kind of a way, she's not her own character. She only exists for Hieronymus's growth.
You see that in a lot of movies where a character will just have a girlfriend or a woman around, a wife, and she's just there to like for the guy to talk to and talk about his emotions, and she like probes him for what he's really thinking, but she doesn't have anything else going on in her life.
She's like, bro, you hang out with church burners and murderers. I'm out. That would have made her a 100% real character.
Yeah, that would have been awesome.
Yeah.
So I don't know, flawed but good, well made.
Yeah.
I think even though other characters are not as much of a focus for sure, still a good ensemble cast. I think everyone does really well.
Probably could have been harsher on Hieronymus, given more insight on Varg. So yeah, go watch it.
Worth the watch.
Go listen to Burzum.
Don't do that. Listen to Scorpions.
Poser.
Here I am, rocky like
What
a
a
hurricane.
poser.
Okay, that's the intro. Right. That's the outro for this. I'll just acapella, rocky like a hurricane.
Yeah. All right. So cut.
Here I am. Okay, cut.
Cut.